It's Sweetie C, yo, it's Sweetie C, and I'm here with another video. What's up, everyone? How are you doing today? I hope y'all are having a blessed day, and if not, I'm going to send some blessings your way. First and foremost, I'd like to thank everyone for subscribing to my channel. Make sure you like and comment. And for those of you that are not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to my channel now. Because you're gonna really enjoy what I'm fixing to do. I'm really excited. So let me get into it, okay? So I am starting a new series called B&W Allies. Yes, y'all. B&W Allies stands for Black and White Allies. And on this show, we're going to be discussing various topics regarding various issues that is currently happening as we speak. So again, I'm Sweetie C, and I'm the black one, and let me introduce to you my white ally, John Strader. Hey, John,
Hey,
how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. So
Good.
are you excited about the show?
I am definitely excited because we're going to get a voice out there, our voices out there to hopefully wake some people up, make them more aware of what's going on, the truth.
The truth.
The truth will set you free.
Hopefully the truth will
Yes.
set you free. So why don't you tell us, those of you, most of you are probably subscribed to my channel, but those of you who are not subscribed to my channel, again, I am Sweetie C. But let me ask John to tell you a little bit about himself.
Okay. Well, I was born in California, Sacramento, California. I was born on February 12th, which is a special day for me because it was always a day off from school. They considered it a holiday, February 12th, because it was Abraham Lincoln's birthday.
What?
Yes.
So
Abraham
that
Lincoln.
was what year?
1960. Yes, I know. I'm almost 60 years old.
It's all good. It's all good.
Right. And the gray hair show. But I was born and raised by an attorney father. He worked 32 years for the state of California as an attorney. My mom was a housewife. One of 6 kids, 3
Wow.
brothers, 2 sisters. So, and an aunt that was my mom's twin sister, but you didn't cross her because you think I have a voice, she had a voice, and when she screamed and yelled, you knew you'd done wrong. Okay, she didn't have to strike you. She beat you down with her voice.
That's good.
So
That's good. So you were able to learn something from her, huh?
a lot of respect for black people and for people of color. She worked. I know this may sound strange, but again, you have to take the time, which is back in the 1960s and 70s. She worked for the Sacramento Police Department, and she worked around a lot of black officers. Her boss was black, and you never said the N-word. If you said the N-word, I said it once. I never said it again after she scolded me on that one.
That's right.
And that was a good thing because I was brought up learning to respect black people, and they deserve respect.
Wow.
And for 400 years, black people have not gotten the respect that they deserve.
So, as you can see, y'all, he is a white ally. Okay?
I am considered a traitor by white supremacist, white racist groups. I'm a race traitor, according to them, and deserving of being murdered.
Well, no, we won't go there.
Okay.
We won't go there.
But that's the truth.
We all should have the right to express ourselves.
Exactly.
And especially in the climate that we're in right now, I think it's really important that we come together and we kind of discuss and just kind of get through the mess and try to figure out how can we move better as people, not just as black people, because black people go through a lot of stuff, granted, and we can blame white people, but at the end of the day, I don't want to just blame them. I want to figure out what can we do to bring more allies to our side to help us on this process, on this journey.
It's about unifying humanity. It's about bringing about unity in humanity, regardless of who you are.
Exactly. Exactly. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and start off because we kind of got into. We could turn this into a subject, but we're gonna actually dive into our first series, and not really just series, but our first discussion, I should say.
Right.
The first one would be, well, my question is, recently, President Donald Trump was awarded the Bipartisan Justice Award by Matthew Charles. Okay, it's the first prisoners release program, or they call it the First Prisoners Release Act. And during 2019, it was a 2019 Second Step Presidential Justice Forum at the Benedict College HBCU. Excuse me, y'all. Okay, so Trump went to go visit at the Benedict College HBCU, and they gave him an award. So my question to you viewers and to you, John, is: do you think that Donald Trump is helping the black community?
Not at all. Okay.
Straightforward.
Yeah, and the reason I say that is Donald Trump has been nothing but a magician. D.L. Hughley has come out and said the man, all he does is do magic. It's tricks. It's nothing but a smokescreen on this man's part to continue to deceive the American public. I mean, years ago, okay, this was probably 20 or so years ago, he was actually found to say that one day he would win the presidential election by telling people what they wanted to hear. Not because he believed in it, not because he stood for it, but because he could tell them what they wanted to hear and they would elect him. And that's in our White House. That man who went to Benedict College to get this award, and Benedict College is a college of 2,100 students.
That's a lot of students, y'all.
Can you guess how many students were invited to attend his speech, seeing him get this award? 7. 7 out of 2,100 students. The rest of the students were asked to stay in their dorm rooms and not come out.
And my question too, I know that Benedict College is a historical black college, but I'm sure there's white people on campus too. Did he not invite them, I wonder?
You know, I don't know the exact answer to that. I know he invited 200 of his, I don't know what they called them, is his people that were part of his White House. You know.
Is that the gang ape, or is it? I wonder who calls who the gang ape or something. I don't know. He does have a name for his people. I don't know. Trump comes up with so many names.
And again, it's just nothing but smoke screens.
Okay, so you say it's a magic trick, and then he says he can say whatever he wants to say, but he does say offensive things towards the white community, but they don't get upset at all. They just, it's like they agree with him even though they know he's lying. For example, he got on to Rick Perry.
Okay.
And he made some comments against Rick Perry. And then Rick Perry, I was like, it wasn't like, I know Rick Perry has a following. He's from Texas. But no one said anything to Trump about why are you going after Rick Perry?
Because, again, you know, all it is, it's like a political circus for, you know, that's the best way that I can describe it. It's a political circus. You know, Perry's not offended because he's on Donald Trump's side, and Donald Trump is on his side, and it's all about playing games with Donald Trump. It's just a big game. You know, he doesn't care about this country. You know, when the man comes out and says that if he is impeached or if he's not reelected in 2020, that he's going to cause a civil war to happen in this country. In fact, there's a Major League Baseball umpire right now that's being investigated because he put on Twitter that if his president, Donald Trump, is impeached, then he is going to buy an AR-17 and help start a civil war. What kind of thinking is that?
But and even with him saying that, where's the patriotism at?
There is no patriotism.
But white society supports patriotism. They support,
Okay.
America. But clearly he's not for America.
He's not.
So how is he still gaining support when he's not for America? How can they claim patriotism when he's not for America?
I heard back when Ronald Reagan was elected as president, it came out that the reason why people and elderly people voted for Ronald Reagan was because they liked the ties that he wore. They liked the fact that he wore a certain tie. Politics has become so corrupted and insane, and like I said, just nothing but a big circus of acts that they just make themselves look good in order to get elected. And the country it's like if you're in the White House and if you're president, well then you deserve to be there. No. I mean, so it's just a big game on his part.
But they gave him an award at a historical black college for helping the black community.
Well,
and really, I can't even fault white people for that. I have to question our people. What are we doing?
Well, it's not just a thing of what it comes down to with a lot of people too, black, white, other people of color, support Donald Trump because it all comes down to about money, about greed, about what they're getting out of it by supporting Donald Trump. Donald Trump has deceived and fooled them into thinking that if they support him, he'll make sure that they're taken care of in some way.
So it makes me wonder if what's his name, Matthew Charles, is part of the 1%. He's the one that gave Donald Trump the award. So I wonder if he's part of the 1%, because you said, what is he getting out of it? So he must be getting that tax break.
Oh, sure. Oh, sure. And again, a lot about this country, too, is about tax breaks. And tax breaks to the wealthy. People that are of middle class and are poor, you think they're getting any tax breaks? No. How do they benefit Donald Trump? They're not, because they're middle class and they're poor. And that's what has been going on in this country for centuries. Is, well, you'll be benefited if you have a lot of money, or if you're rich. So.
And they have a lot of money and they have benefits, but they keep their money. So it's like the point. What I don't get. What's the point of having the money if you're already getting free stuff?
Exactly.
If people are already sponsoring you and asking you to try their products. If you try my product, you know what I'm saying? They get perks.
Exactly.
So it's just like
tax breaks.
That too. A whole bunch of perks.
And let me just make a side note here on the whole tax situation that a lot of people are not aware of. People think, well, I've got to pay my taxes because it's the American thing to do. Okay? I have a brother, in fact, the only brother that still associates with me and talks with me, and he's an accountant. And he made a point, he said, if all we did was pay sales tax, sales on food, clothing, that type of thing, and got rid of the income tax, we still have enough money from what the IRS gathers as far as taxes to pay for our roads, to pay for our schools, to pay for our libraries, okay? And if you look at the whole inception of the IRS, the IRS was first put together in order to help out soldiers coming back from World War II, to help them get back on their feet.
Really?
Yes, after World War II. As soon as those soldiers were helped and they had the things that they needed to continue to be prosperous, the IRS was supposed to go away. It was supposed to no longer be an organization because it's unconstitutional.
I had no clue about this.
That is fact.
Y'all, we not even supposed to be paying taxes.
And if you look at our Constitution, it says in there how it's not constitutional.
And I can believe that because we pay taxes and we're from Texas, so our roads out here, we still have potholes, okay?
Hello.
There's too many potholes. So obviously they're not putting the money towards where it should go, but they're still asking us for more money. But isn't that, oh, child.
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, about
to too. Okay, but you know, here's Donald Trump. Okay, here's a man that you know, when we had the mass shootings in El Paso and in Dayton, Ohio, and
Sincere condolences to y'all.
yes,
During those trying times.
But Donald Trump conceded that probably, and he uses the word probably, more has to be done after these mass shootings. Wait a minute. You know?
What do you mean more has to be done?
But he used the word probably. Well, probably? No, more has to be done. He should have never started out with the word
Probably.
Probably.
Correct. I see where you're going. I see. Because that does matter.
It does matter.
And to me, that's like a signal to his base, like magician trick. I have to say this in order to look good.
To look good.
But you know what I mean.
And that's all he's doing with, like, at Benedict College, all he's trying to do is look good.
I got a question. Let me ask you
Sure.
a question. Because he's my white ally, okay, y'all? So you have white allies, you have to have a good white ally that you can talk to so they don't take offense to the question. So my question to you is,
Sure.
why are white people so abusive to black people? They say they don't want us, but at the same time they can't let us go.
Because when black people were originally taken from Africa over to the United States and put into slavery, there was a point of time where the blacks began to rebel. They were burning down their own houses, you know, they were acting out violently, and two of the people in charge of the whole slavery thing, and I can't think of them by name right now, but they actually went over to Germany to talk to one of the chancellors over there in Germany. And this German person told them that if you took away their ability to read, their ability to write, their ability to make choices, if you treated them like animals, okay, you shackled them, put them in cages, when children didn't meet quotas in the field, their hands and feet were cut off, if you put them in that miserable place, they will not rise up. So black people have had atrocities brought against them to make them feel like they're inferior. And that still happens today. That discrimination still happens today. What we've done with the black people in society today now is we've taken them out of the fields, and what we've done is we've put them in prison to silence them up, to have them not to have a voice over anything.
So white people's purpose is just to make our lives miserable.
Pretty much. I'm sorry to say that, but yeah.
Ain't got no like future plans for us. Ain't got no vacation.
No, well, look what Donald Trump's doing. He has no future plans for blacks and people of color. None.
Well, there's some blacks who think. I'm still trying to figure out what the blacks who support him see what our future plan is, because
He has tricked them into believing in him. Okay, one thing I really believe needs to have happen in our country again is we need another Martin Luther King Jr. who stands up, who marches up the White House steps and with no fear, like a lion, gets in the face of these people and say, you know what? The black people have had enough Okay, we're as mad as hell, and we're not going to take this anymore. You know, I looked at an analogy several years ago, and I use this analogy still today. And the word fear. Let's take the word fear, and let's break it down letter by letter. F-E-A-R. False for F, evidence for E, A, appear, R, real. False evidence appearing real.
That's deep, y'all. I'm getting a whole new lesson right here.
But it's the truth.
Yeah, let me ask y'all to comment below if do you feel that we will never rise up as a black people?
On the contrary, I think the black people will eventually rise up and take their true status in life, which is they came from kings and queens, okay? They came from warriors, great warriors. Black history is not taught enough, especially to black youth, that they come from mighty warriors who stood up in battle and defeated many Goliaths. And this is just a Goliath. What the white race is doing, what white supremacists are doing, they're just acting like a Goliath.
Wow. I just had to be quiet for a little bit, y'all. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't expecting this. Okay, this is very interesting. You see, this is why it's very important to have black and white allies. You know, where you can have these discussions, where you can have different perspectives, and you gain understanding. And I know a lot of people's like, what can you learn from a white person? Well, actually, you can learn a lot because they're doing something right. They're keeping us. They're really making us fight out here for our freedom.
That's
and I know
right.
some of y'all say we're free, but a lot of us aren't free. I mean, there's some people who may classify themselves as free, and there's some people that are in a position where they feel free, but it just seems like that can be taken away at any given time.
At any given time, and if you look at it, okay, yeah, you may not be in chains or shackles, but or in cages and that type of thing, and treated with disrespect and treated less than human, but you're still not free, especially when you're discriminated against as far as education. Excuse me, as far as education, as far as being able to buy property, when you're discriminated against as far as jobs out there, you're still not free. So
what led you to decide that, you know what, I'm starting to understand black people. I'm starting to agree. What was that? Do you remember, was it recently that you felt like, white people really treating black people wrong, or is this something you felt for a long time?
I felt it for a while, but it was recently that it was like an awakening. It's like I woke up. It's like I opened my eyes. You shared a poem with me that when I heard it, and I really listened to it, and in the poem she says, we are not monkeys, we are not chimpanzees, we are not apes, we are Africans.
That's right. And that video is on my YouTube channel, so y'all make sure you check it out. This is a good poem too. You see, it reaches people. Poems reaches people. That poem was from a young lady from South Africa. So y'all make sure you check out that video. But I'm glad it touched you. But yes, keep going. So you said you.
So yeah, I woke up, and when there's and I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I was raised in a Baptist family, and there is mention in the Bible, okay, in Christianity, that at first I saw through a glass dimly, but as I began to become more aware and see things more clearly, that's when I became a man. And there's a post that is now my Facebook profile picture. And it's Martin Luther King who comes out and says that it's not about money. Okay, leaders are not about money. Leaders are about humanity and doing the right thing.
You can say that again. Matter of fact, say that again for the people in the back.
Leaders are not concerned with money.
Leaders are not concerned with money, y'all.
Leaders are concerned with doing the right thing.
Leaders are concerned with doing the right thing.
And about humanity. Hand me my phone for a second. Let me read Martin Luther King's words.
Yes.
Okay. For what they were without,
I really think, I'm really glad you touched on that portion of his speech where he says leaders are not about money, because I feel like black people tend to follow people based off of income way too much.
Okay. Martin Luther King said, we need leaders not in love with money, but in love with justice. Not in love with publicity, Donald Trump, but in love with humanity, which Donald Trump is not.
And that goes for black people too. Yeah. We gonna keep the leaders. I'm still on y'all leaders out here that's really doing things because of money. Like, you're really hurting the community by just using us for our money.
Hurting the world. Humanity. Look what's going on in Africa right now. Over money.
That's exactly right. That's exactly it.
Sorry, that's a whole nother subject too, right?
Yeah,
I keep opening up cans of worms, don't I?
Yeah, we can have. There's a lot of avenues we can go into with this scenario, but with this series, but. Yes, money is a huge issue, which is why, too, a lot of people are following Trump. They are following because of money.
Okay.
Now,
let me read something real quick here. More than 150 years after the 13th Amendment abolished slavery in the United States, most U.S. adults say the legacy of slavery continues to have an impact on the position of black people in American society today. More than 4 in 10 say the country hasn't made enough progress towards racial equality. And there is some skepticism, particularly among blacks, that black people will ever have equal rights with whites, according to a new Pew Research Center survey. Opinions about the current state of race relations and President Donald Trump's handling of the issue are also negative. About 6 in 10 Americans, 58%, say race relations in the U.S. are bad, and of those, few see them improving. Isn't that sad?
Yes, it's very sad. It's definitely sad. I mean, especially in Texas, y'all know we had several incidents. We had the Amber, I don't even want to mention her name, Baca Jean situation. And then we had the Tatiana Jefferson situation, and condolences to both of their families. So yeah, it's sad because I remember years ago they used to say racism is almost ending. Racism was almost ending, and I was like, who are they talking to? Like, I honestly feel as though our Congress, the Republican Democratic Party, I feel that both those parties are really out of touch.
Oh, definitely out of touch
with what is actually going on with the black community.
And you know what's just came into my mind was, it's like the white race is continuing to excuse and somehow soften what they've done to blacks for 400 years. And you cannot soften it, because guess what? It was done. It was atrocities. The American people, okay, condemned Hitler and his henchmen for the atrocities that they did, but they are not willing to look at the atrocities that they've done to blacks, and not just blacks, the Native Americans, when they came over to this country, slaughtering innocent women and children. Tribe after tribe after tribe, because they wanted to make it look like, well, we're the white race and we're superior. Wrong. And it's sickening.
It is definitely sickening. Is there a way to reach white people? Is there a way to reach them?
By continuously doing what we're doing here tonight.
Okay.
Okay. Getting the voice out there, making people aware, reaching people to have them awaken just like I woke up. Mm-hmm. Okay. But again, having leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. that do the marches, these KKK rallies, how many black people, how many people that are against the KKK and their whole ideology confront these rallies? We need to confront these rallies without this false pretense of fear and say, you know what? This country is sick of people like you. This world is sick of people like you. You're against humanity, mm-hmm. and you need to be stopped.
Stopped. You need to be stopped. Facts. I will say, and I remember in Austin when the KKK held their rally mm-hmm. in downtown Austin. And I have to say, shout out to those of us from Texas who showed up. Because it was the most sickening experience to see in the fact that Texas allowed them to show up, and they had chains in front of them because people were throwing eggs at them.
Right.
People were throwing all types of stuff at them because they deserved it, and they were playing slave music at the Capitol. That was just ridiculous. And it's
is ridiculous.
Why would if we held a Black Lives Matter rally, it's an issue. And it's so frustrating because it's frustrating when black people are against Black Lives Matter. No, Black Lives Matter is necessary.
Is necessary.
For black people. Black Lives Matter is necessary for black people. So you have the KKKs holding their rallies, playing their slave songs in their cloths, whatever that outfit's called, their sheets.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just acceptable. And it's just really sad that they can get zones to be able to do it. And that's why I say the Democratic Party and the Republican Party is out of touch, because I feel like y'all should have nipped that in the bud a long time ago.
And not allow those rallies, exactly. Because the white supremacist groups are the biggest hate groups in America. Let's take a look back at the shootings that happened in El Paso and Dayton. Here's a fact, okay? Fact. Okay? After another weekend of mass shootings, Americans are once again debating the problem of gun violence. In Texas, Patrick Chrysius has been named as a suspect in what has become America's 8th deadliest mass shooting after killing 20 people and injuring 26 more in Walmart. Okay, just hours later, Connor Betts opened fire outside a bar in Ohio, killing 9 people, including his sister. And by the way, Trump came on and said that it happened in Toledo. Shows how insensitive he is, because it actually happened in Dayton. Why am I stating this? Is because about 60% of America, which is white only, while current stats show white people carry out about 58% of the mass shootings. Most of your mass shootings are done by white males.
And they hide them. They hide them, and they hide their identity. They hide their locations. Because, as soon as a black person shoots a gun on accident, they know the whole family tree. They know the house. They know the neighborhood. They know the friend who only knew him one time, but they found that one friend that knew him one time. Like, they can find everything when it comes to black people. But when it comes to these white people, you don't hear them talk about the media outlets they were on. Like, because they're on, or the YouTube videos they're watching, the history, the teaching they're having in their family. You gotta, a lot of these mass shooters, they don't address the parents. Like, I don't understand where the family is. Like, can we get some information on the family? What is being taught? Nope. And I'm not saying it's the family's fault for the incident happening, but I'm just saying there could be some type of training within the family.
But are you ready for the incident with Patrick Chrysius, who lived in Plano, Texas, drove, what is it, 6 hours to El Paso?
Yeah, that was sad.
Okay, are you ready for this though? Before he made this journey, his mother called the Plano police and told them about the firearm that her son had and if she was concerned about it.
See, this is another one where I have to go in silent and kind of think about what I'm going to say before I say it. Because so let me go back to the title, Black and White Allies.
Right?
So this man, mama called and notified the police and they didn't take action.
Did not take action. Did not take action.
Now that part I did not know, and that's really sickening to even hear. Like, that's really depressing right now to hear the fact that the police were aware. So, okay.
And 22 people lost their lives in El Paso, Texas because of it.
It was unnecessary.
It was totally unnecessary.
And so, once again, I feel like the judicial system needs to be held accountable as well. So, they're not holding the judicial system accountable. Basically, white people are getting away with too much.
Okay.
They don't get whoopings when they're younger, and they're not getting spankings when they're older, okay? Sometime in your life, you need a real good spanking.
Good spanking. And here's a couple more. One of them out of Baylor University. We are all familiar with Baylor here in Texas?
Yes,
Okay.
I know people there.
A former fraternity president. Okay, this happened, I guess, about a year ago. But he was brought to trial in regards to raping a girl at a party. Okay, even shoving her head down into her own vomit as she was being raped. Okay, he was acquitted. He was not found to serve any time for this act of violence because his defense attorney was from Baylor, the prosecuting attorney was from Baylor, and the judge was from Baylor, and they were all white.
And so there's this thing in Texas. You're native.
I'm from California.
Okay, like you said in the beginning. I'm sorry. You're from Cali. Well, I'm a native Texan. It really doesn't matter because it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
But just in reference to the fact that we're here in Texas, there is a lot of protection going on amongst, as you can see, teachers, amongst the officers, just all these different organizations, which is actually hurting the black community because even if we go and try to tell somebody, who we're going to go to?
Exactly. Because
if everybody in high place is protecting their racist friend, we're stuck out. So it's like
And going back to the KKK in this state, okay, that is so prevalent. It's a big problem here in the state of Texas. Do you remember 20 years ago, 3 KKK members tied a black man to the back of their truck? First of all, they stripped him down naked, and then they tied him to the back of their truck and dragged him through the streets, killing him and decapitating him.
This is a serious issue. This is a serious issue because it could happen to any one of us. And we do need white allies because what if we're in a predicament where we need help and we need someone who's going to actually tell the truth? You know what I'm saying? Who's going to actually be like, no, this is what happened. But there's an issue, and we really need to address these issues and stop sweeping them under the rug. Like, if we just keep trying, we're going to make it.
Or burying our head in the sand like an ostrich.
Or bury our head in sand. There are institutions against our communities. And even coming and doing this show is difficult because we're gonna have some viewers that's not gonna like what we have to say. We're gonna have some viewers that are gonna really, come hard on us. But at the end of the day, we have to speak the truth about what's going on, and we have to bring attention to what's going on, and we have to find some type of way to come together as communities. Because not every white person is racist. But we definitely have a lot of racist people here.
A lot.
But not every white person is racist. And it's just, that was what, 20 years ago, you
20
said?
years ago.
And this is 2019, and just the other
2019?
Just the other week, a lady, Tatiana, got shot in her own home, and a brother got shot in his house. So what has been done in between that time frame?
Nothing. We're still living in. Let me go to another article here that I came across 3 months ago. Okay, this just totally. I mean, just it irked me. It was just like, I can't believe that we're still doing this. Let me get to it here. And the title of the article is, this is 2019 and not 1819. Mm-hmm. Mounted police leading a black man by a rope sparks outrage. 2 Galveston police officers took it upon themselves to not wait for a patrol car. They were on horseback. They were arresting this man, and instead of waiting for a patrol car to come and take this man to jail, they decided to tie a rope around him and lead him through the streets of Galveston, these 2 horseback police officers.
Okay, so coming from a white perspective, mm-hmm. How would y'all handle this situation if the tables were turned?
Exactly. Oh man, I thought about this a lot. You know, we would be outraged. It would be like, how dare 2 black officers lead a white person through the streets by a rope? You know, if the atrocities were done to the whites that have been done to the blacks, there would be such a cry out there that it would be sad. It would be sad. Because, again, black people have not been given their just due. And this can be a topic for another time, but I just want to say this, and that is that as a white person, seeing all that has happened over 400 years, that there needs to be restoration done for the black people in some fashion. I'm not talking monetarily, but no more discrimination against blacks as far as finding a job or going to work where they want to go to work or getting the education that they deserve, you know, or getting a loan to have a business that they've been dreaming of for years.
And my point is, which is really stupid to me.
Retribution.
And is that us getting, if we make white people so much money, wouldn't it make sense to allow us to go to school and get education? Because it's not like you're not going to get the money. I mean, I really don't. It's like you use us for money, but then you want to suppress us. Mm-hmm. And then you complain about money, and then use us for money again. But how are you going to suppress us and use us for money? You gotta let us do something. Like you can't take what we don't have.
And the reason, and I believe the reason it happens is because it's the white supremacist way of still holding you down. Because they're afraid that if they allow you in those positions, that they'll lose those positions. And their fear is loss. They're afraid of losing.
Let me let you know some white people. The racist white folks. You can have the position, okay? We just want to be free, and we just don't want to. We want to be able to walk down the street without doing our face.
And hold your head high like you should.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like you've been in a position we don't even care, and you still mad. What the heck is going on? Like Trump is in the position to do all types of things, and he's focused on black people.
Exactly.
In Spanish.
Isn't that insane?
Yes. Like you have the world to do whatever you want to do. And that's what I don't get about white people. When you have the power, you do all this stupid stuff and it's like, what is the purpose? To end the world?
Well, and here's something else I'm going to say about these white supremacists, especially those who believe in God and read their Bible on a daily basis. I don't know. I'm pretty sure, in fact, I know for sure that I read at one time in that Bible that, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Well, when you've disrespected and shown no love and no humanity towards a black person who is your neighbor, you know what? Obviously, you're not loving yourself. And you deserve back on you what you've done to black people. There, I said it.
Ooh, y'all. Comment below what you think. We touched on a lot of different topics, and we could have. First of all, let me go back to you saying black people deserve restitution.
Yes.
Okay, I like that, and I want to say thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
And I even told you before we came on the air here that my dream, I have a dream, that is to win the Powerball and the Mega Million, because I would take all of that money and use it to help youth with their education, help youth with sports, help black people find jobs, to create more organizations other than just the NAACP to really help out black people. That's my dream.
I think that was shots fired, NAACP. Y'all need to step your game up.
Step it
No,
up.
because we do need, as much as we can fault white people, we still have black people in our communities we can fault too, because they're not helping us. I would just rather them just be quiet, just you be white. It's okay. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we'll take the white and who want to be, no, I'm just playing. just kidding, y'all. Just kidding.
But if you think about it too, let's go back 400 years when the white colonists invaded Africa to steal blacks out of their homes and bring them over here to become slaves. If they had just done it differently, if they would have approached it in a way that was more loving, more respectful, kind, would we find ourselves in this position today?
No, we would be booming with success.
Oh, Gad.
Booming.
I'm serious. I'm serious.
Yes. I mean, because when we work together, we work well together. We can accomplish so much. We could have been. It's like we wasted
400 years. We wasted 400 years.
You got me silent again.
I know, but truth is truth. Again, truth is truth.
Truth is truth.
And the thing too, if the KKK would have been nipped in the butt from day one, there wouldn't have been a lot of great blacks that would have lost their lives because of this hideous organization. And it's crazy, but in 1927, and there's a lot of whites, believe it or not, that don't know this to be true about Donald Trump, but his father was arrested as a Klan member after a Klan riot in Queens.
So we know Trump's racist, and if you didn't know, now you know.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
So it's a possibility, which I don't put it past him. He could be one of the higher ups in the KKK movement.
And you know what's funny is he was interviewed and asked about the head KKK member. I can't even think of his name.
David Duke.
David Duke. Okay. And when he was asked about David Duke, and he was asked about, he said, "Oh, who's David Duke? Was he somebody that supported me?" And I'm like, "Come on, Donald, really? You're going to play this one?" And when he was asked about, he goes, I don't even know anything about white supremacy or white supremacists. And I'm like, how old are you, Donald? And you don't know anything about white supremacy or white supremacists? Again, he's trying to do magic tricks on all of us and to deceive us. Have you ever watched a magician? That's what they do. It's all about deception. It's all about getting you to believe that something is happening that is not real.
And it's bringing our country down. It's like,
Oh,
United States looks horrible to the world right now.
yep.
Horrible to the world. And it's not the Spanish people. It's not the black people.
It's the white people. Plain and simple. And that's what I woke up to, is that truth, is that the problem is with white supremacy. White supremacy is trying to kill off humanity.
But then what will they do? They can't run this world by themselves. They didn't even build it by
Again,
themselves.
Donald Trump and these people that believe in white supremacy, that are neo-Nazis, are just as bad as Hitler and his henchmen. That's what Hitler believed, was to kill off all the Jews and the blacks and anybody of color, and the world was going to be blonde-haired and blue-eyed Germans.
It's crazy how white people can get other people of colors, of cultures, to go against their own culture.
Oh, very much so. Very much so.
To get rid of, because I'm just thinking you have to think about this. We have a white ally right here who is telling us everything that black people have been saying pretty much for 400 years.
Right.
And we still have people within our community acting as if Trump really cares about them. Ben Carson, he don't care about you.
He doesn't. He really doesn't.
I don't even see him no more.
Yeah, he disappeared.
Ben Carson does magic tricks.
He does too.
He can show up in the scene and all of a sudden I don't see him at all. So yeah, Trump is he's a good magician. He's definitely a head magician.
But hopefully what we're talking about tonight and what we're sharing and getting to people to wake up, okay, and become aware, that'll expose what Donald Trump is all about, and people will really see him for what he really is.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Has a black person ever done anything to you?
No. You know what? That's why I love black. I have gotten along with black people all of my life. In fact, I have gotten more love from black people than I have white people. Isn't that sad? My own race has done more harm to me than no black person has ever harmed me. Never harmed me.
Why would you think why? I don't. So white people are cool to white people too, and they're cool to black people.
White people are cool to white people if you're doing something for them, or if you're treating them a certain way, or if their needs are being met. But once you're not meeting their needs, and you're not playing the game the way they want it played, believe me. Okay, I'm just going to go into a little personal thing here. Okay, and this is how I was treated by my own mother. Okay, and this is really personal.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready for this, and I'm going to share this. Okay, I started working when I was 12 years old, and my mom, she was mentally abused by my father. Okay, my father was a graduate of Berkeley University. Okay, law school. My mom only had a high school diploma, high school education. My dad refused to take her to attorney gatherings like parties or functions or Christmas parties or anything like that because she was uneducated. Okay. But because it affected my mom that way, and she became a very heavy opiate user, if I didn't give my mother everything that I earned, she didn't love me. She only loved me and considered me to be a good son if I gave her everything that I earned. And how I tie that in is my mother accepted me and loved me when I was meeting her needs because my dad didn't. Okay. And when I wasn't giving her everything that I had, I was a son that she would literally, in front of me, lift her arms and her head up to God and say, God, please send this horrible son of mine to hell. That's how white people treat other white people. I've never been humiliated or treated or made to feel inferior with a black person.
But you have met, white people who are good to you, though, right?
I can't count them on one hand. Okay? All my relationships were like my mom. Okay? My ex-wife was like my mom.
Wow.
Okay?
Y'all, this is deep. I didn't even know this, so this is new to me, too, so...
My ex-wife, I had a little black kitty. It was my first animal that I ever had in life. And my ex-wife was 16 years older than me.
You said it was... Hold on.
What?
Can you repeat that? What?
I had a black kitty.
Oh, okay. Okay,
What did you think I said?
Black kid. Excuse me, y'all. Just in case y'all didn't hear him correctly, I want to clarify.
My first pet in life was a little black kitty that I called Trapper. Okay.
Okay.
My ex-wife was 16 years my senior. Okay. I was 26 when I married her. Made her in her 40s, I guess. Yeah, 42. Anyway, she had three sons that were my stepsons. And Trapper would greet me every morning. And, that cat loved me. And I loved that cat. And one morning I got up and I walked out of the bedroom and Trapper didn't come bounding my way. And I went over, saw one of her stepsons sleeping on the couch. And as I walked over to the couch, I noticed there was my cat, flat as a pancake, laying on the floor because her son had slept on it. I went into my room, or went into the room that she and I shared as husband and wife, and I got sensitive. I was crying. This was the first animal that I had ever had in my life. She went into the living room, picked up the cat from in front of the couch, walked to the bedroom door, opened the bedroom door, threw this dead cat at me into my lap, and said, "Here, you deal with this." It's all right, but yeah, that's how whites have treated me. Except for my brother, Paul, who was in Freeport. He's the only one that has really treated me with respect and with love.
Oh, so we gotta do better. We need to
treat everybody with respect and love, and as humans, we're all a part of humanity.
Excuse me, y'all. Yes, definitely. We need to treat each other better. We need to respect one another. And we're going to disagree. We're not always going to agree on things and like the same thing, but that does not mean you have to just be actually basically abusive to somebody else. You're basically abusing somebody when you're infringing on them in a negative way without reason. You should be able to just. Well, and let me just say, okay. So you had your experiences with white people. Let me explain. Let me go ahead and go into my experiences with white people. I really have had very good experiences with majority white people.
Okay. Can I intercede? Can I intercede for a second? Okay. Can I intercede for a second? Have they been kind to you because they're trying to portray themselves as being kind? Do you really know what's going on inside that white person and what they're thinking? Sorry to burst your bubble, kiddo, but you know what? Unfortunately, I've been around enough whites that that's what they do too, is they just portray it just to make you think that they're not racist.
I learned a lot today. What did y'all learn? I need y'all to comment below because there's so many. I would love to hear everyone's point of view on one. If you feel like Donald Trump is against black people, if you feel like he's for black people, please tell me what he's done. Because I don't know.
I don't know either.
We're together. He has John. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, because you have put some
Things out there on the table.
Yeah, you put a lot on the table that I really have not heard anywhere else. Like, really haven't heard anywhere else. Especially with this awakening regarding you white people who are fakes. But the allies, you can tell who's an ally. This is how you know you have a white ally. When you have someone that can actually break it down. And honestly, this is not easy for me to hear. Like, some of what he's really said to me is I'm still digesting. That's why I'm kind of just like, because I wasn't expecting it. I mean, we had conversations, but a lot of this we haven't, we didn't touch. So it's really a great organic show. It was really just, we're just flowing off with each other. But yeah, where can they find you, John? If they want to, do you have any social media or anything?
I'm on Facebook,
okay.
John Strader. And on my Facebook, again, my profile picture is of Martin Luther King Jr. with what he said about humanity.
Hey.
So please, yeah, I mean, send me out friend requests. I will friend you back. You know, and here's another thing I want to touch on, though, you know, and that is, even with the things I've said tonight, I know, but I understand the hurt, the hatred, the feelings that black people have towards whites. And I go out of my way now, because I understand that even if I am treated, if I were to ever be treated, because again I haven't, but if I were to ever be treated unfairly or in an unjust manner by a black person, you know what? 400 years. My God, that's a long time to be oppressed. I understand it.
On that note, we're gonna go ahead and end on that note. I would like to again thank everyone for tuning in. B&W Allies Series Part 1. I think we kind of yeah, I'm ready to put this one out. Black and white allies, we're here. And we would love for you to join in. We will be going live in the future. So you can call in and you can give your feedback.
Exactly.
Provide some comments, or even just, you know, give us your point of view. We would love for you to call in. But for this one, this is basically our pilot launch. We hope you enjoy the show. Make sure you comment below, like, subscribe. Again, this is the Black and White Alley series. We have John Strader. I'm SweetieC. It's SweetieC. Yo, it's SweetieC. Now what? Talk to you later.
Bye.